Welcome to Mira Developer by Mira World. Today we are going to solve one of the most common and, let's be honest, one of the most frustrating problems that every single Python developer runs into. We're talking about virtual environments. So let's dive right in.
So, I want you to picture this. You are so excited about a new project. You find this perfect library online. It's going to add all these powerful new features. You install it. Everything's working beautifully. You are feeling like an absolute coding genius. But then, you switch back to an older project, right? One that was running perfectly just yesterday, and it breaks. Total chaos. Or maybe even worse, your new app works perfectly on your machine, but the second you send it to a friend or a colleague, it just crashes instantly on theirs. Yeah, that exact headache is what we are going to fix today for good.
And don't worry, we've got a really clear roadmap to get you there. We're going to start by understanding what we're calling the dependency dilemma. Then we'll get familiar with packages and pip. After that, we'll make the case for why you absolutely need isolation, walk you through the exact professional workflow, and by the end, you'll be mastering your project dependencies.
All right, first up, let's really get to the heart of this thing. This isn't some weird, obscure bug that only happens once in a blue moon. No, this is a fundamental challenge that every single developer from day 1 to year 20 has to deal with.
You know that classic, dreaded phrase, "Well, it works on my machine." That is the #1 symptom of a dependency problem. It's a sign of chaos, really. But professional developers, they have a standard, super elegant solution. It's called a virtual environment. It lets every single one of your projects have its own isolated set of tools, which prevents them from ever messing with each other. Now, to really appreciate the solution, we kind of need to understand the tools that cause the problem in the first place. So let's talk about Python's real superpower, its huge ecosystem of packages, and the tool we use to manage them, which is called pip.
So what is a package really? Well, the best way to think about it is like a pre-built toolkit. You know, instead of having to build a car from raw steel, you get to use wheels, engines, and navigation systems that were already built by experts. And in Python, these packages, whether they're for data science, web development, whatever, they save us a staggering amount of time. We get to stand on the shoulders of giants.
And how do we get our hands on these amazing toolkits? Well, we use pip. Pip is just a simple command line tool that connects to this massive online warehouse of software, and it installs whatever we need with just one simple command. The best part? It comes built in with modern Python, so it's ready to go.
Okay, and now we're at the most crucial point. We've got these incredible packages, and we've got pip to install them. So, the first temptation for everyone is to just install everything into one big global collection for all our projects to share. But that decision, trust me, that is where the chaos begins.
Now just take a look at this slide because it perfectly shows the problem and the solution. On the left, in that global setup, all your projects are basically drinking from the same well. So what happens if project A needs an old version of a library, but project B needs a brand new version? Well, you have an impossible conflict. One of them is going to break. But on the right, with virtual environments, every project gets its own clean, private sandbox. They can use whatever versions they want, and they live in perfect, isolated harmony. So, the big question is, how do we actually get to this beautiful state of organized harmony? Simple. We follow a simple, repeatable workflow. This isn't some secret trick. It's just what professional developers do every single day to build software that's stable and reliable.
So first, let's officially define our hero here. A virtual environment is really just an isolated folder. That's it. It contains a dedicated Python interpreter and all the specific packages a single project needs. It keeps the project totally self-contained and separate from everything else on your computer.
In this whole process, it breaks down into 4 super simple, memorable steps. That's it. First, you create the environment. Then you activate it to kind of step inside. After that, you install whatever packages you need. And finally, you freeze a list of those packages so that anyone, including you in the future, can perfectly recreate your setup. Create, activate, install, freeze.
Let's get our hands dirty with step 1, creating the environment. In your project's terminal, you're going to run the command you see right here. The first part, python-mvenv, just tells Python, hey, use your built-in virtual environment tool. And that second venv, that's just the name we're giving our environment folder. It's a really common convention, and I recommend you stick with it. This one command creates that new, isolated folder right inside your project. Okay, so the folder exists, but now we need to turn it on, or activate it.
As you can see, the command is a little bit different depending on your operating system, but the result is exactly the same. On Windows, you run the activate script from the scripts folder. On a Mac or on Linux, you use the source command to run the activate script from the bin folder. And how do you know if it actually worked? This is the crucial part. Your terminal prompt will physically change. It'll show the name of your environment right there in parentheses. This is your visual confirmation that you are now working inside that isolated space. From this point on, any Python commands you run are only going to affect this one specific project. So now you're inside your own private bubble. You can use pip just like you always would. For example, when you run pip install requests, the requests library gets installed only inside your local ven folder, not into your main global Python installation. No more conflicts. It's really that simple. And finally, the step that makes your project truly professional and portable. The pip freeze command. It lists out every single package and its exact version that you've installed in your current environment. And by using that little greater than symbol, we're telling the computer, hey, don't just show me this list, save it to a file. And by convention, we always call that file requirements.txt. And this file, this is the magic key for collaboration. When another developer gets your code, they don't have to guess what you used. They just create their own virtual environment. They run one simple command, pip install -r requirements.txt, and boom, it installs the exact same dependencies. This guarantees that if it works for you, it's going to work for them. So let's just take a quick breath here and recap what you've just unlocked. Because this isn't just about learning a few new commands, it's really about adopting a professional mindset for building software that is robust, reliable, and easy for other people to use. You've just picked up a whole set of skills that are going to make you a much more effective and professional developer. You get what packages are, you understand the dangers of just installing things globally, and now you have a repeatable, reliable workflow to create, activate, install, and share your project requirements for every single project you build from now on. And I really want to hammer this point home. What you just learned is not optional if you're serious about development. I don't care if you're building a simple script, a complex API, or a machine learning model. Using virtual environments is a non-negotiable fundamental skill. Mastering this is a huge step forward in your journey as a developer. So where do we go from here? Well, now that you can manage your projects like a pro, our next explainer is going to teach you how to make your programs interact with the real world by reading data from and writing data to files, which is an absolutely essential skill for pretty much anything you'll ever build.
Hey, if you found this explainer helpful and you learned something new, let us know down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, don't forget to like this and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you then.